Welcome to Fantasy Fanfiction. American Comics. The Foundation's inventory at the beginning shocked the world. Chapter 1. Lu Yi traveled through time. He actually came to the Marvel world. Definitely this isn't actually such a bad thing. Although this Marvel universe is very dangerous, the chances of surviving as an ordinary person are still quite high. Not to mention that in this world, there are top goddesses such as Natasha Romanoff and Wanda. But the bad thing is that the world is about to be invaded by various abnormal things. For example, Little Peanut, Shy Person, Scary Old Man, Uncle, etc. Anyone who is familiar with them knows that any one of these things can cause quite a disaster. But luckily Lu Yi awakened the system. Now he only needs to make the information about the anomalies about to invade into an official video, and then publish it. Information materials for people in the Marvel world to popularize science about anomalies. After gaining sharing points at the same time, Lu Yi can unlock a variety of good things. For example, there are benefits such as large bases and D-level or C-level employees, as well as top-level agents and friendly anomalies. Fortunately, before Lu Yi traveled through time, he was originally an editor for a certain sound source. So making this kind of video editing is a piece of cake for him. So today Lu Yi is sitting at home, editing like crazy. As the system prompts in my mind, these abnormal invasions are coming. Lu Yi also finally finished 10 video clips. Lu Yi definitely plans to release them separately. Congratulations to the host for finally successfully completing the video editing through your unremitting efforts. Will the host deliver it directly? Close black lens bracket. The system's voice sounded again in Lu Yi's mind. Put it in directly. Lu Yi looked forward to it. He can't wait to see the reaction of Marvel's various superheroes to the video he made. Entering night over New York City. A very huge amounts of light curtain suddenly appeared out of thin air. The Foundation's logo is also displayed on the light curtain. In this dark night sky, this huge amount of light curtain is so clear that basically everyone can see the details in the video clearly. So everyone raised their heads. What is that in the sky? Is it a new thing that Stark came up with? Look, there is a sign there, you can clearly see it from so far away. What's going on with my phone? At the moment, everyone's mobile phones turned into black screens, and then displayed the logo of the Foundation. Not only that, but also all the displays on TVs, computers, and even game arcade machines are like this. And in Stark Tower. Sir, Stark Tower's systems have been compromised. Well, I can already tell JARVIS. At the moment Tony sat on the sofa, sipping red wine and watching his TV with curiosity. A large Foundation logo is taking up the entire screen. And he was deeply attracted. There is someone on this planet who can hack into JARVIS's system. I think this person must be a genius among geniuses. Can JARVIS help me locate this person? I must meet him. Tony was not angry at all, but was very interested in the initiator. After a while, JARVIS said, "Sorry sir, I can't locate the other party." What did you say? At the moment Tony looked surprised. Because in this world, there are things that JARVIS cannot locate and trace. You know, this is the first time in his life that Tony is completely passive. I don't know the origin of the other party at all, and I don't know the identity of the other party. At the moment, Tony was not Iron Man, nor had he made that suit of armor. And in S.H.I.E.L.D. Matifak, what do these technicians in our bureau do for a living? Director Nick Fury looked extremely angry. Our great S.H.I.E.L.D. was actually hacked by a hacker. Just now, all their S.H.I.E.L.D. computers, without exception, had black screens. Then the Foundation's logo appeared on the screen. At the moment, looking at the huge light screen outside the window, Nick Fury's face became even more gloomy. At the same time, as a veteran, he was constantly guessing who the other party was. Could it be Hydra? No, they should not have such advanced technology. Could it be that guy Tony? Sir, I'm very sorry. We really can't find the source of the virus. Then you continue to investigate until you find out. Hearing this, Nick's expression became serious. You must know that S.H.I.E.L.D. has always controlled all information in this world. So he absolutely cannot accept something like this happening today. At this moment, a piece of text suddenly appeared on the light screen. We represent the Anomaly Containment Foundation. Close black lens bracket. We will contain, we will control, we will protect. Close black lens bracket. Then the beautiful video started playing. With those tragic accompaniments. Countless agents on the light screen fought hard to fight against the monsters in the darkness. This scene makes people's blood boil. At the moment everyone stopped their busy steps and couldn't help but look at the light curtain. This anomaly containment foundation, what on earth is it? It looks pretty cool. So is this a movie? But this picture is so real. Are all the trailers now so exciting? At the same time on the other side of the world. The magician's holy place Kamar Taj. A group of magician apprentices were staring at the light curtain, and they were deeply attracted by the content inside. Because they are isolated from the world, they have no idea what is in the light curtain. What kind of magic is all this? I don't know. Could it be something created by the king? No, I think that's the magic of the Ancient One Master. At this moment, under the moonlight, a woman with extraordinary temperament wearing a yellow robe suddenly fell from the sky. If you didn't say it, no one would know that this woman has lived for hundreds of years. Everyone guessed wrong. This is not magic at all. Ancient One's voice was gentle yet majestic. After seeing Ancient One, all the students saluted together. The Ancient One here is definitely different from the one in the movie. She now still has beautiful hair and a beauty like an ancient Greek god. After all, it is normal for everyone to have different images in different universes. For example, in the comic universe, the Ancient One magician is an old man with a gray beard. As one of the wisest people on Earth, Ancient One must know that the video played in this light curtain is the video that humans often watch. However, Kamar Taj is protected by a powerful magical barrier. Logically speaking, everything will be blocked. But this light curtain directly broke through the barrier and then appeared above everyone. If that person's magic is more powerful than the Ancient One, then it can indeed be done. But the scary thing is that Ancient One didn't feel any magic at all. So her expression became serious. If this was the case, there was only one possibility left. Is it direct alter reality? The Anomaly Containment Foundation contains and protects. Nick thought after seeing this, it seems to be an organization that secretly protects humans. Why does it feel like it is imitating S.H.I.E.L.D.? Because there are also many abnormal existences in the Marvel world. For example, some evil mutants or super abilities, monsters, aliens, etc. And S.H.I.E.L.D. was established to protect humans from it. So in a sense, it is really similar to this foundation. It's just that the anomalies managed by their S.H.I.E.L.D. are different from the anomalies managed by this foundation. How can I put it? Anyone who knows it understands it, it's not on the same level at all. At the moment Nick was still thinking. If this kind of organization really exists, then as S.H.I.E.L.D., which has all the information in the world, it should be impossible not to hear any rumors. So this foundation is most likely bluffing. I just don't know what the purpose of their video producers is. Over the sky. At the moment, the video on the light screen has turned into demonic faces. This world is different from what you imagine. Close black lens bracket. Those demons, ghosts and things that cannot be looked at directly. Close black lens bracket. They are all hiding in the dark, threatening the world. Close black lens bracket. Definitely at some point, their numbers began to decrease constantly. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket slowly forgotten. Close black lens bracket. But we all know that they did not disappear. Close black lens bracket. At the moment, there are countless weird things in the picture. Those terrifying faces and gloomy environments. There were also shrill cries. At the same time, the agent died tragically. The internal organs were scattered with colorful things. Countless people's scalps went numb after seeing it. This is too scary. Although this is a movie, it is so real. No, this is too real. I'd better vomit first. When Sao's mask came out just now, I was really shocked. My hands are still shaking now. Why do I feel this foundation seems to be real? After all, this is the effect that a movie can produce. Quickly pull him down. If a monster of this level were real, the world would have been destroyed long ago. And this time inside S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick Fury's face turned darker. This mysterious guy, what did they want to do? He knew that everything that appeared in the video on the light screen must be fake. Because there is nothing unusual in their world that Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. don't know about. That monster with the siren head. Humph, that's pure nonsense. If it really existed, S.H.I.E.L.D. would have captured it immediately. At the moment at Mutant Academy. The famous Professor X looked at the light screen playing the video in the sky, with a hint of surprise in his eyes. Just now he tried to use ability to find the person who made this video, but his mind went blank. This situation has never happened before. The Anomaly Containment Foundation protects humans. He is not sure now whether there really is such an organization in their world, or whether this video is just a movie made by someone out of boredom. But Professor X had a strange intuition in his heart. At the moment he felt he had to meet the person who made the video. So he planned to use his brainwave device and see if he could find him. New York. A man with very strong muscles in a red tights was jumping flexibly between countless high-rise buildings. And he is Daredevil Matthew. Although he was blind, his other senses were honed to the extreme. And he can know the outline of the surrounding environment through radar induction. He knew that at the moment the people on the street were all looking up at something. But Matthew couldn't see it, and he wasn't interested. Because he learned that Kingpin was going to make a dirty deal tonight. So now he plans to stop him and prepare to wipe out Jin Bin's criminal group. Same moment. The video of the light curtain on the sky has finished playing. It was replaced by a line of red text. Special warning, the current world is about to be invaded by anomalies. The following is a list of the top 10 abnormal creatures. Number 10. Abnormal Containment Object, Shy Person. Close black lens bracket. Abnormal Name. Abnormal Contained Object 096 Shy Man. Project Level, EU. Abnormal Description. Abnormal Containment Object 096. Its appearance is that of an extremely thin humanoid creature, but it is taller than a human being. It does not have any muscles on its bones and is only covered with skin. Close black lens bracket. Every joint of Abnormal Containment Object 96's body can be twisted to unimaginable levels. Close black lens bracket. Abnormal Contained Item 96's eyes are very hollow. I wonder if it can collect visual signals. Close black lens bracket. In addition, according to the results of the brainwave scan, Abnormal Containment Object 096 does not have any corresponding brain functions. Close black lens bracket. It can be inferred from this that Abnormal Containment Object 096 cannot think. Close black lens bracket. At the moment everyone started discussing. Our world is about to be invaded. Does this mean that the monster just now will appear in the movie next? And there are 10 such monsters in total. No muscles, just skin. Like the monsters in those horror movies. Don't just post these words, hurry up and show us what this monster looks like. How on earth can you move if you don't have muscles? We're just watching a movie upstairs, don't be too serious. And in S.H.I.E.L.D., the moment this information appeared, Nick Fury immediately started thinking. Then his men consciously searched for various information, trying to check 96's cobweb horse traces. A humanoid creature without any muscles, brain or eyes. You really can't imagine it. At the moment Nick Fury thought to himself and couldn't help but sneered. He didn't think such a creature existed in this world. Because in his cognition, it is impossible for creatures without muscles and brains to survive. After a while, Hill came over and said, the director reported that he did not find any information about Abnormal Containment Object 096, and everything is normal around the world, and no abnormal creatures have appeared. Hearing this, Nick nodded. It's true, just as I expected. It looks like this is just a simple prank. Hill, please continue to investigate and find out who has invaded S.H.I.E.L.D.'s computer. Clear. At the moment Nick had already made up his mind. When he catches the person who invaded S.H.I.E.L.D., he will make this guy hand over the technology he possesses. And in Kamar Taj, the moment Ancient One saw this information, he felt a familiar feeling in his heart. Because this description is very similar to some dark creatures she has dealt with. These 10 abnormal containment objects are about to invade. At the moment the Ancient One was thinking. Ancient One understands in his heart. There must be a certain reason for such a powerful person to popularize this information to the world. We contain, we control, we bring protection. Ancient One couldn't help but think, is this the reason? Then the data on the light curtain was updated again. Definitely after long-term observation, abnormal contained object 096 does not pose a threat under normal circumstances. Close black lens bracket. However, after its face is seen by any creature, abnormal containment object 096 will fall into an extreme emotion. Close black lens bracket. Then abnormal containment object 096 will kill any creature that sees it at all costs. Close black lens bracket. The way to see it is definitely to see it directly or through photos and videos, etc. Either way, this effect will be triggered directly. Close black lens bracket. Attempts to prevent this effect, including delete data and delete data, have failed. Close black lens bracket. After killing the target, abnormal containment object 096 will fall into calm again. Close black lens bracket. As soon as the new information came out, it immediately set off the internet. The setting of this monster is really too bitter. As long as you see his face, he will be killed by it. This setting really fits the name of a shy person. All attempts to stop it have failed. Does this mean it can't be dealt with? Not even photos and videos. What if it's mosaic? Why do I feel like this monster is a little invincible? Is the first monster that appears so powerful? And in Stark Tower. Stark also looked at the information on the light screen with great interest. Deleting data. It seems that this foundation must have used very inhumane methods, so that it does not want outsiders to know the specific situation. Then he crossed his legs and said, if such a monster appeared in the center of Nuyo, it would be a lively event. Fortunately, this is definitely not true. In S.H.I.E.L.D. Although Nick Fury feels in his heart that this foundation is fake. But he could imagine what the consequences would be if this monster appeared in the city. As more and more people see its face, more and more people will die, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. So he couldn't help but scratch the hair that didn't exist. When the text on the light screen was updated again, he couldn't help but take a deep breath. Abnormal containment object 096 has been detected and has invaded the current world. Close black lens bracket. Then the light screen turned, and all the text on it disappeared, and the latest picture was played instead. In the darkness, a handsome man wearing red tights and his eyes covered by red cloth was seen jumping nimbly between countless tall buildings. Matt in the light curtain had no idea that his every move was being watched by people all over the world. At the moment he was getting closer to Hell's Kitchen. Because that's where the underworld emperor of Nuyo, Jin Bin, is based. This kingpin appeared to be a philanthropist, but in fact, this guy committed all sorts of evil by burning, killing, and looting. And he is also Matt's sworn enemy. Matt secretly swore in his heart that he must capture the kingpin today. No matter what price you pay. Even though he was alone. But even if the opponent has thousands of troops, he is not afraid. At the moment S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick Fury's men consciously dug up information about Matt the moment he appeared. As the most powerful agent organization in the world, it is a piece of cake for them to do this. Reporting to the director, the identity of the person on the light screen has been found out. His name is Matt Murdock. He is usually a lawyer, but he often fights crime at night. So people like to call him Daredevil. Hearing this, Nick Fury suddenly raised his head, and then looked at the vigorous figure in the light screen. Then his Adam's apple moved. Are you sure that the information you just found belongs to the person in the light curtain? I guarantee that, sir. Seeing this, Nick couldn't help but frown. I don't understand why the so-called foundation would broadcast a superhero live. Is it just plain bad taste? Or is something really bad going to happen? Could it be that the abnormal information just now? But Nick still shook his head. If such a creature really existed, their S.H.I.E.L.D. spies all over the world would definitely report to him immediately. And in Kamar Taj, as the wisest man on the entire planet, the Ancient One must also know Matt's true identity. But the moment he saw him on the light screen, Ancient One immediately recalled the information about Anomaly 096 that was played on the light screen before. Especially the last sentence 096 has invaded the current world. Quote. So she immediately understood what was going to happen next. The Ancient One then activated the Eye of Agamotto. She saw Matt's thread of fate among the countless threads of fate. Then with a gentle touch, the line of fate magnified infinitely in front of Ancient One's eyes. And the line in front of me ended 10 seconds ago. Then it became a blur. 10 seconds ago, the light screen in the sky just showed that 096 had invaded the current world. This also means that at that moment, the future of this man named Matt has been changed. Seeing this, Ancient One frowned slightly. Then she quickly looked at the future of an important person. It was Stephen Strange. The Ancient One's designated successor is known as the Sorcerer Supreme, also known as Doctor Strange. At the moment Strange's future becomes blurry. This scene also broke the last bit of luck the Ancient One had. Because Eye of Agamotto doesn't lie. What will cause future changes in them must be the mysterious foundation that just appeared. The Ancient One then closed the Eye of Agamotto. She couldn't help but look at the sky, and there was a trace of fear in her eyes. It was as if in another dimension, the dark Mephisto Dormammu was looking straight at her with his abyss-like eyes. But soon, her eyes became determined again. Because Strange's future will be involved in many major events, even related to the fate of this world and the entire universe. So he must be the future Sorcerer Supreme. This can never be changed. So Ancient One called Mordo directly. She then tells Mordo to find Strange immediately and take him directly to Kamar Taj. She plans to personally put Strange's destiny on the right track. And above the light curtain, Matt has arrived near Hell's Kitchen. At the moment, he did not move forward rashly, but chose to hide nearby. Then use your senses to observe the situation in Hell's Kitchen. But what surprised him was that there wasn't even a guard at the door of Hell's Kitchen. This Jinbin city is extremely deep and very cautious. So there is no guard at all, which is not his style at all. Just as Matt was thinking, suddenly a strong smell of blood floated into his nose. He was instantly shocked. It's bad, something happened. Not allowing him to think too much, Matt immediately ran into Hell's Kitchen. As Matt continued to go deeper, the smell of blood in the air became more and more obvious, and several corpses appeared on the ground. Seeing this, Matt squatted down and looked at the corpses. I saw that their deaths were extremely miserable. Their bodies seemed to have been torn into several pieces, and the blood from their internal organs was flowing all over the floor. In addition, the bullet casings on the ground are the best proof of their hard resistance. Everyone was killed in this brutal way. Who killed them? At the moment Matt thought to himself. Because in his impression, no gangster in New York could achieve this level. So he couldn't help but hold the stick in his hand tightly and continue to move forward. Because his goal was to find Jin Bin, and he wanted to see the corpse or the person. At this time, a faint cry suddenly came from not far away, which was very penetrating. Oh my god, this corpse is too bloody. Is this really the result of special effects? I wonder if you still remember the information just released. I think 096 must have killed those people, right? I guess those people must have seen 96's face, so they were killed. My hands are shaking now. This is so scary. Do you think that cry was made by 096? If the man in red continues to move forward, I'm afraid he will have to send it as well, right? Look, he's still moving forward. It's broken. Bullets can't kill 096 at all. Why is he going to die now? It was so scary, I really couldn't bear to look at it. At the moment, people have begun to discuss it enthusiastically on the internet. And in S.H.I.E.L.D. Even as an old agent for many years, Nick felt a little uncomfortable in his stomach when he saw this scene. He was definitely jealous of the technology of the light curtain maker again. To be able to make the picture so real is probably the most advanced technology in the world. Then he couldn't help but remember that Hulk seemed to have torn people apart like this before. But this was obviously not Hulk's doing, because it was hiding in the countryside of Samba at the moment. HMPH, I want to see what tricks you are planning to play. Nick couldn't help but think to himself. Because he didn't believe that this light screen maker had invaded computers all over the world just to play a broken movie. At the moment the history of Stark Tower. The moment Stark saw the corpses, he spat out the cheeseburger in his mouth. Then he closed his eyes and stopped looking at the light curtain. After all, he was so pampered, but he had never even seen a chicken being killed, so how could he stand such a scene? Although it's a horror movie, it's just like this, right? I almost thought it was a real dead man just now. Listening to those horrifying cries, Stark felt his hair standing on end. But out of curiosity, he couldn't help but open his eyes again. Because he really wanted to see what this 096 looked like. At this time, he found himself, Little Pepper Potts, covering his mouth and watching TV with a trembling face. Seeing this, Stark immediately laughed. "Hey boss, this 096 is coming out. And if you see its face, you will be chased by this guy." When he heard this, Boz couldn't bear it anymore and screamed, then ran away. And in Kamar Taj, Ancient One is naturally not afraid of such a scene. But she thought about the terrible effect of this 096. Any creature that sees its face will be killed without mercy. Those corpses on the light screen at the moment must be thanks to that 096. So if this 96's face appears on the light screen, wouldn't it be seen by everyone in the world? At the moment, on the light screen, Matt had walked into the dark hall. Because the picture has been specially processed, audiences around the world can see it clearly. At the moment, corpses were almost piled on the ground. It is not difficult to imagine how strong the smell of blood and organs is here. And the terrifying cry became closer and closer. At the moment Matt's Adam's apple couldn't help but move. It would be a lie to say that he was not afraid at all. But he had to move forward. What if it was really a monster that killed these people? Then Matt will definitely not let this monster continue to destroy Nuyo. Seeing Matt slowly moving forward, viewers around the world couldn't help but hold their breath. Suddenly Matt felt that the Kingpin was hiding behind the pillar and shivering at the moment. It seems like this monster didn't kill Kingpin directly. Matt thought after seeing this. So he stopped in his tracks. Then he used his senses to search for the location of the terrifying monster. At this time, Kingpin also saw Matt, and immediately laughed maniacally. "Haha, damn Daredevil, you are finally here. Now everything I have is gone, and I will definitely not escape death. You should be satisfied now, right?" Hearing this, Matt did not speak, but gradually retreated towards the exit of the hall. He thought that Kingpin's roar would definitely attract the monster. As Sue was an experienced warrior, Matt quickly thought of countermeasures. Why did the monster kill all of Kingpin's men but left him alone? At the moment Kingpin took off his coat, revealing a body of terrifying muscles. "Go to hell, Daredevil." Kingpin roared and charged directly towards Matt. And his terrifying huge body was like a big truck, hitting Matt directly. Matt was distracted at this time, so he had no time to dodge and was directly knocked to the ground by Kingpin. Upon seeing this, Jinpin immediately pounced on him. His huge amounts of fists burst out with terrifying power, hitting Matt like meteorites. Although Matt was trying his best to block, Kingpin's power was too terrifying. At the moment his arm was about to be broken. Suddenly, Matt heard a strange sound of footsteps. Kingpin also stopped attacking. And in Matt's senses, he saw a very tall, but extremely thin monster, standing in front of Jinpin at the moment. His heart suddenly skipped a beat when he saw this. And so does Kingpin, because he saw with his own eyes how this monster just killed all his men. At this time, in the picture on the light screen, 96's limbs also appeared in front of everyone. Seeing this, everyone couldn't help but stick out their heads, and as the light curtain camera moved upward, their eyes opened wider and wider. At the moment everyone wants to see what this 96's face looks like. Finally in the camera, 96's face finally appeared. But everyone was shocked. I saw that 96's face was covered by a mosaic. And it's an extremely subtle mosaic. Only a rough outline can be seen, and the closer you try to look, the blurrier it becomes. It seems that every pixel has been completely destroyed. Within the light curtain, at the moment facing this monster that could easily kill all his men, Jinpin had a desperate smile on his face. "What the hell are you, monster?" At the moment Kingpin was ready to be torn to pieces by the monster before him. But 096 didn't take any action, just stood there. Kingpin was furious. He thought that 096 was looking down on him, just like a cat always plays with a mouse before killing it. As the all-powerful underworld emperor, she can be killed and never humiliated. Kingpin angrily rushed in front of the monster, raised his fist, and struck the monster's body. But the monster's body was extremely hard, and his hand bones shattered instantly. The fists that had once beaten people to pieces were as fragile as biscuits. Kingpin raised his head in despair and looked at the monster's face. What on earth are you? Suddenly, 096 howled in pain. He instantly stretched out his arms and penetrated Jin Bin's chest. Then, there was a scoff. With blood raining all over the sky, Jin was torn into 2 pieces alive. Then, 096 calmed down again. He stopped in place and occasionally let out a horrifying cry. Matt saw everything that happened. He wanted to get up, but the huge pressure of 096 prevented him from moving. He didn't understand why 096 didn't attack him. It's as if Matt doesn't exist. After a while, 096 slowly walked out of the hall. The feeling of huge amounts of oppression finally disappeared. Matt immediately scrambled to his feet, breathing heavily. He picked up the stick from the ground. But suddenly I felt a little ridiculous. How could he possibly stop such a powerful monster by himself? However, seeing 096 walking towards the city center, Matt ran over without any explanation. He would never allow this monster to harm innocent citizens. At the moment, Matt heard a roar. And the sound of propellers. I saw that Hell's Kitchen was surrounded by numerous vehicles and tanks. Many soldiers set up heavy machine guns and rocket launchers. In the sky, the propeller of the helicopter was turning. Countless gun muzzles and barrels were pointed at the wandering 096. Matt was immediately relieved. The military's firepower was naturally stronger than that of Jin Bin's men. No matter how strong this monster is, it cannot withstand cannons and missiles. The military is here. 096 is going to be finished now. No matter how powerful it is, it can't stop the cannon. The man in red is really lucky. His eyes are covered with cloth. He must be blind, right? That's right, so he couldn't see 096, so he wasn't attacked by it. So, no matter how powerful it is, what's the use? In the face of powerful firepower, all carbon-based creatures will be annihilated. 096, why are you still standing there stupidly? You don't look very smart. Hell's Kitchen. Countless muzzles and barrels have been aimed at 096. But it turned its back to the soldiers and wandered aimlessly. It was as if everything around him was just air. A man dressed as an officer held a loudspeaker and shouted, "Whatever you are, stay where you are, or we will open fire." However, 096 still had no response. The officer's eyes were full of arrogance. It seems that he is just a low-level creature. Can't Kingpin even deal with this kind of thing? Do you want us to save him? Ha ha ha. Suddenly, at the moment when 096 turned around unintentionally, the officer made eye contact with it. Suddenly, a coldness like falling into an ice cave spread down the officer's entire spine. 096 made a strange cry and rushed towards the officer at an extremely fast speed. With just one blow, the officer and his car were split in half. Fire from the explosion lit up the night sky. In an instant, machine guns opened fire and tanks shelled. One big hole after another appeared on the ground. However, 096 remained unscathed and withstood the fire, tearing apart the people who saw its face one after another. It grabbed the tank, tore it open like bread, and then crushed the driver's head open. Jump on the plane and snap it in one fell swoop. His limbs, which are as thin as bamboo poles, are like the scythes of the death god, harvesting life. The soldier looked at the unkillable demon with despair in his eyes. But 096 doesn't care about that. It quickly killed all the soldiers. The scene was a mess, with charred remains and corpses in horrible shapes everywhere. Thick smoke billows. Liu Yi controlled the camera and moved it slowly. Let every spectator see clearly the spectacle of wreckage and flames. The firelight illuminated 96's back, a handsome one. The corners of Liu Yi's mouth rose. He was very satisfied with the result this time. You will definitely earn a lot of sharing value. Under the light curtain. This is too strong, isn't it? Just use the hegemonic body. How can you play this? Maid, I now doubt that even a nuclear bomb can cause it harm. Fortunately, this thing is not real. Otherwise, Niuyu would be in ruins in less than a day. Be confident, it won't take half a day. Looking at the barrage passing by, Liu Yi nodded. It seems that no one discovered that 096 really appeared in New York. This is a good thing. Liu Yi doesn't want to be exposed prematurely. In this way, when everyone discovers that the anomaly really exists, the share value will definitely skyrocket. This is called taking a long shot to catch the big fish. Kamar Taj. Although mentally prepared, but Ancient One was still surprised by 96's strength. Ancient One has seen many creatures that can withstand this level of artillery fire. However, among them, there is basically no one who is as unscathed as 096. Is this level of abnormality just the 10th place? Ancient One looked at the light curtain in the sky. How powerful will the anomaly that appears later be? Ancient One thought so. She would take action if necessary. Although this is not within her scope of responsibilities. But if humanity is really annihilated, she cannot stand idly by. Above the light curtain, Matt stood there. He stared blankly at 096 walking among the ruins and wreckage, whimpering from time to time. Matt looked at his hands. For the first time in his life, he had doubts about his own power. He fought with Kingpin to the death for so long, but he couldn't do anything to him. This monster suddenly appeared and easily killed King Bin and all his men. Matt knew that he was able to survive entirely because of the monster's lack of interest. If this monster continues to destroy Neo, there is nothing he can do. He couldn't help but take off his blindfold. He tightened his grip on the stick again. At this time, in the sky, the roar of helicopters gradually approached. Matt looked up. I saw that every plane had the logo of the Foundation on it. Here you go, Foundation. They don't seem to be carrying weapons. Did they want to contain 096 with their bare hands? The military has failed to do anything to 096, why are they still here to die? Happy. Look, there is a cage under the plane. Did they think they are fishing? Ha 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 ha. Kamar Taj. Ancient One stared closely at the plane in the picture. What is the strength of the mysterious organization that has been laid out for so long? Can they really contain 096? In the light curtain. Matt looked at the plane approaching 096. He shouted at them, "Hey! Don't go any further. You can't deal with that monster." But the planes didn't seem to hear what Matt was saying. Two of the helicopters landed on the ground. A dozen neatly dressed agents got off the helicopter in an orderly manner. Each of their eyes was tightly wrapped. They didn't seem to be afraid of 096 at all and ran directly towards him. Matt felt hopeless for a moment. He was powerless to stop 096 from killing them. However, what happened next was completely beyond his expectation. I saw the helicopter lowering the cage. The agents surrounded 096 and started to operate. The moment 096 stood in the cage, the steel plates surrounding the cage immediately merged. 096 was completely shut in, leaving no gaps at all. Then, the agents returned to the plane. An agent who looked like a captain saluted Matt. "Thank you for your efforts, sir." Then, he also got on the plane. Watching the helicopter where 096 was imprisoned gradually fly away, Matt felt that what the captain just said was full of drama. Matt did nothing and has no idea why he survived. And they took away such a terrifying monster without a single blow. What did I pay for? Matt slumped on the ground weakly and said mockingly. Isn't it taken away so easily? The army was bombarded for so long and the whole army was wiped out. The Foundation took it in easily. In comparison, the army seems to have relieved itself. In fact, the Foundation has already popularized the information, hasn't it? Those agents are blindfolded. That's right. As long as you don't see 96's face, wouldn't it be enough? He is very docile under normal circumstances. I can only say that the Foundation is well prepared. The military people are so stupid. Wow, this is simply the most exciting movie I have seen this year, no, in my life. Ex-college. Charles was still shocked by the power of 096. If he has a powerful mutant like 096 under his command, he would no longer have to be humble to those high-ranking human officials. In addition, Charles was shocked by the ease with which the Foundation took him into custody. That kind of decisiveness and smooth operation is definitely not something that an ordinary organization can achieve. Charles decided that no matter what, he would meet with the leaders of the Foundation. Deep underground, in a secret base. William. Stryker stared at the screen greedily. This man is the one who injected adamantium into Wolverine, and is the mutant's #1 public enemy. Behind him, lying on the operating table, was a dissected mutant child. Her body was still filled with sparks from super ability. What a beautiful creature. If I get him, I will be able to wipe out all the mutants in the world. Stryker's eyes flashed with madness. Stark Tower. Tony couldn't help but applaud. Wonderful. The first containment object was so impressive, I'm already looking forward to the next one. At the moment, Jarvis said, "Sir, you have an important meeting to have tomorrow, please don't forget it." "I know, Jarvis. How could I forget? But now, don't interrupt my movie." What Jarvis said is, a boss in the Middle East placed an order for huge amounts of money. Tony made an agreement with him to conduct on-site transactions with him tomorrow. When the time comes, military personnel will escort him. Shield. HMPH, this is imitating SHIELD's style. If this containment object really exists, SHIELD will definitely contain this monster faster than the Foundation. Nick thought to himself. Then, he looked at Hill. "How's it going? Have you found the video producer's information?" Hill sighed softly. "Sorry, director, there is no progress. In addition, the video producer has extremely high technical skills, because SHIELD's technical department has analyzed the light curtain, and there has been no progress." Quote. Nick pretended to be calm and looked at the light screen. He thought to himself, "Just wait for me, light screen maker, no matter where you are, I will catch you." At the moment, Hill seemed to think of something. Director, Natasha Romanoff and the others. "Don't worry, there is no such monster in reality. Natasha Romanoff's mission continues as usual and cannot be delayed." "Yes. Kamar Taj." Ancient One let out a sigh of relief. The experience and execution ability shown by the Foundation gave her a sense of peace of mind. It seems that the Foundation has a deep understanding of the containment objects and has made sufficient preparations. Ding, congratulations on completing the science popularization of Abnormal Containment Object 096, and now you have received 10 million share value. You have received additional rewards. Abnormal Containment Object -500, Panacea. Quote exclamation mark. Quote. Luyi sat up suddenly. He didn't expect that the first reward would be so impressive. Abnormal Containment Object 500, as its name suggests, can cure all abnormal conditions and diseases. Even late-stage cancer and late-stage zombification. With this thing, Luyi can easily become the richest man in the world even without a system. As long as you take out a piece, the rich will flock to it and spend all their wealth to buy it. Moreover, Luyi's life safety has been further guaranteed. As long as he still has breath, take a panacea and resurrect with full blood. Most importantly, he was able to get personal contact with some interesting but dangerous contained objects. Then, Luyi opened the system mall. He purchased some odds and ends and some personnel. He used the remaining sharing value to purchase the communication scope. After buying these, he only had 1145 sharing points left. Ding, congratulations, the spread of your video has been further expanded, and important locations have been included. Asgard. Not bad. Luyi thought to himself, there are many well-known figures in Asgard, so we will definitely get more sharing value. Ding, warning, new containment objects are about to invade this world. Hearing the prompt tone, Luyi immediately started operating the system. He saw the location that was about to be invaded and immediately smiled evilly. Nick Fury, you're in for a big surprise. Luyi's hands clicked on the transparent screen. Then, pressed the enter key. Above the light curtain, subtitles began to appear. Everyone immediately became excited. 96's explosive performance made them look forward to it. They really want to know what the next abnormal containment object will be. Inventory of top 10 abnormal contained objects, number 9. Open black lens bracket. Plague Doctor. Close black lens bracket. Asgard. Loki looked at the light screen that appeared in front of him and immediately walked up. What is this? Even though Loki was a well-informed Protoss, he was shocked by the magnificence of the light curtain. Seeing no one around, he immediately used magic to create an invisible space. In this way, only he in Asgard can see this light curtain. Then, he began to study this light curtain. Since Loki could touch the light curtain, he started the replay function and finished watching 96's inventory. It's interesting. It turns out that it happened in the world of Midgard. Loki's lips raised slightly. As I thought, the creatures in the world of Midgard are extremely weak. If that 096 appeared in Asgard, a pet cat could easily kill it. However, Loki seemed to have thought of something. If you show the photo of 096 to my stupid brother, something interesting will happen, right? At the moment, the sun is shining brightly in New York. Kamar Taj is on the other side of the world, so it's dark. Ancient One stared closely at the light curtain above his head. Starting taking stock of the next one so soon. 096 is already so powerful, how strong will this one be? Stark Tower. Tony put on his suit and tie with the help of Pepper. A new abnormal containment object. Plague Doctor. It sounds very weird. You're going to be late, Mr. Stark, please hurry up. Pepper smoothed the wrinkles on his clothes. I got it, Pepper. I definitely won't miss this deal. This is a big order. A man wearing an ancient black robe and a medieval beak mask appeared on the light curtain. Suddenly, there was an exclamation of surprise. I know this. This is what doctors wore during the Black Death. Did you? See the look in his eyes. Where are the eyes? His whole face is covered by a mask. I have a feeling that there are eyes under his mask, which makes me feel uneasy. Shield. The moment the Plague Doctor appeared, Nick asked his men to immediately search for information. See if there are actually similar characters. Even though he firmly believed that this thing was fake, it was just in case. After all, the technology possessed by the other party is very terrifying. Above the light curtain, the words appeared again. Project Level, Euclid. Abnormal Containment 049, Plague Doctor. Close black lens bracket. His appearance is that of a medieval Plague Doctor. Close black lens bracket. His black robe, his beak, and his hat, these look like clothing, but in fact, they are parts of his body. Close black lens bracket. In a sense, it's his skin. Close black lens bracket. After testing, the skeleton of the Plague Doctor is very similar to that of humans. Close black lens bracket. Usually, Plague Doctors are kind to humans and are very willing to cooperate with the Foundation's work. Close black lens bracket. It's so weird. Clothes or skin. I get goosebumps all over just thinking about it. Is this thing kind? I thought all abnormalities were scary monsters. I feel that this doctor is definitely better than 096. You fart, 096 is the strongest. Those with good intentions are not worthy of being called abnormal. Inside S.H.I.E.L.D., Nick snorted, contained objects with good intentions and cooperative work. I haven't seen them in decades. At the moment, Hill stepped forward. I asked someone to check, and there is no information about this doctor at all. Nick secretly breathed a sigh of relief. This shows that the Foundation does not exist. If such a weird creature exists, then it is impossible that S.H.I.E.L.D. has not even seen its shadow. In this case, what did that person, or that group of people, want to do by hacking into S.H.I.E.L.D.'s system? Just to disgust me. Nick thought so. Kamar Taj. Ancient One looked at the strange face of the Plague Doctor. The creatures whose clothes are made of flesh and blood, are very similar to some dark creatures. She thought to herself, usually, are they friendly? Next, words appeared on the light screen, which completely shocked everyone. If the Plague Doctor perceives what he thinks is a plague, he will become violent. Close black lens bracket. For creatures infected with the Plague Doctor will be highly hostile to them. Close black lens bracket. The Plague Doctor will attack the creature by touching it. Close black lens bracket. The target will die immediately. Close black lens bracket. This setting is so exciting. He's usually friendly, but he's actually a murderer. But he killed all the creatures with plague. I think he is a good doctor. You see clearly upstairs, it's what he thinks is a plague. That means anyone can be his target. Yes, maybe a normal person who was fine walking on the road was killed by him. I'm looking forward to it. I really want to see how he kills creatures. In the light curtain, the text continues to display. After killing someone, the Plague Doctor would always express with regret that killing people could not get rid of the plague very well. Close black lens bracket. Next, he will take out many surgical tools whose file size far exceeds the capacity of the tool bag he carries with him to perform operations on the creatures he kills. Close black lens bracket. The corpses operated by the plague doctor will come back to life. Have basic motor abilities. Close black lens bracket. Creatures in this state are called abnormal containment objects. Plague Doctor 2. Plague Doctor 2 has no basic thinking ability and memory, and is just a moving corpse. Close black lens bracket. If the abnormal containment object Plague Doctor 2 receives an order from the abnormal containment object Plague Doctor, then Plague Doctor 2 will show extremely strong movement ability to complete the Plague Doctor's order. Close black lens bracket. Abnormal containment object Plague Doctor. When creating the abnormal containment object Plague Doctor 2, they usually claim that this is an imperfect cure. Close black lens bracket. Everyone was talking a lot, and their interest was completely aroused. I don't care if I'm going to be late for work. Because the setting of the Plague Doctor is so cool. If you don't have the ability to think, but have the ability to move, isn't this a zombie? You can create zombies and control them. This ability is so incredible. It feels so scary. As long as he thinks someone has the plague, he will turn him into a zombie. College. Cyclops, Scott and Logan looked at the light curtain in the sky together. Logan, I think the Plague Doctor will be able to kill you, and your self-healing ability will be useless. Then, you will become a zombie with adamantium bones, ha ha ha. Scott laughed. Shut up, Scott. If you meet the Plague Doctor, he will definitely cure you because you have a disease called tiny dick. Jean Grey must have been complaining about this for a long time. Wolverine took a sip cigar, showing a classic half-smile. Scott immediately complained, a personal attack is too much. At this time, Charles came over in a wheelchair. You two, stop bickering. I have found the exact location of Stryker's base. All the X-Men will be dispatched. We must completely defeat Stryker and rescue the children there. Charles paused, then looked deeply at Logan. Don't you want to know your past? Trask has everything you want to know. Wolverine took another deep drag on his cigar. Scott said, Professor, this light curtain. Charles smiled. Don't worry, Scott. I will contact the maker of the light curtain, or in other words, the leader of the mysterious foundation. At present, he does not have any malicious intentions. Underground base. Stryker looked at the words in the light screen, his eyes bloodshot. Yes, mutant, it's the plague. It's the disease. The Plague Doctor will definitely kill them. On the big screen, the text changed again. Abnormal Containment 049, the Plague Doctor has invaded this world. Close black lens bracket. As soon as this line of text came out, everyone's emotions were ignited again. Everyone wants to see what happens next. Nick Fury's face was expressionless. As if to say, I believe you are a ghost. However, the next scene made Nick Fury's expression very exciting. He was a little confused at first. Then, looked carefully. Suddenly, he was shocked. I saw a live broadcast of a beautiful agent leading a team to perform a task on the big screen. This agent is none other than Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff. S.H.I.E.L.D., which has always been in control of everything, is actually controlled by someone else. Could it be that there is a traitor within S.H.I.E.L.D.? This is the only explanation. Otherwise, how could a hacker break through the world's most advanced firewall and know about S.H.I.E.L.D.'s top secret mission? But Nick couldn't figure out who the traitor was. Suddenly, Nick thought of a terrible thing. This video is an inventory of the top 10 containment objects. In other words, the video must be related to the contained object. Just like the last inventory, the scene played must be related to the anomaly. To add to that, the Plague Doctor has invaded the world. Nick's lip trembled. In his mind, he pictured Natasha Romanoff turning into a living corpse. At the moment, I no longer care about the authenticity of this foundation. Nick must not lose his best agent. Quickly, contact Natasha Romanoff. Nick yelled. Already in contact, director, but what? Unable to contact, completely, no signal. The employee looked pitifully at Nick's face that looked like he was about to eat someone. Then what are you doing standing here? Keep in touch. Yes. Anomaly Containment Foundation Base. Seeing Nick's furious look, Luyi was stunned. It was him who had just blocked all signals from S.H.I.E.L.D. Therefore, Nick could only watch helplessly as Natasha Romanoff and the Plague Doctor met. Then, Luyi was having fun while controlling the camera to closely follow Natasha Romanoff. Nick closed his eyes, and even Falk didn't bother to speak. The picture in the video attracted everyone's attention. The beauty of the female agent has become a topic of discussion. Even the Plague Doctor is forgotten. Tony Stark wants to recruit her as his personal secretary. At the moment, Natasha Romanoff had no idea that she was being watched by all of humanity. Her eyes were full of determination as she observed the Hydra base not far away. Same information is received from Pierce. There are not many guards at this base. On the surface, it was an inconspicuous wood processing factory, and even Sir didn't bother to search it. But there is a universe within. Very dangerous raw materials are produced here. However, the good thing is that Hydra did not set up many guards in order to not attract attention. Natasha Romanoff gestured. The agents start taking action. They moved in secret. The lazy guards didn't notice their arrival at all. When the time came, all the agents raised their stun guns. A few sizzles. The guards were all unconscious. Natasha Romanoff gestures again. Prepare to enter the factory. But suddenly, boom, a blue light flew from nowhere. Caused a large explosion. Natasha Romanoff was also knocked away by shockwave. Suddenly, she felt a sharp pain. Then, he fell heavily to the ground. Her left eye could only see darkness, and the dizziness in her brain made her unable to move. There was blood flowing from the corner of her mouth, and she didn't know what happened. In a daze, she only heard the evil laughter of Hydra members and the screams of other agents. There was also the sound of bones breaking and blood gushing out. Natasha Romanoff resisted the dizziness in her head and tried to get up. However, the body seemed to fall apart. After a while, a group of Hydra people gathered around. The leader is very tall and wears a skull mask. The gun in his hand did not have a magazine, but was replaced by a tube of blue high-density solution. Presumably, this is the energy source of the blue light just now. At the moment, the black braised egg outside the screen had veins popping out of his fist. He is now very sure that it was the traitor in S.H.I.E.L.D. who revealed the news of Natasha Romanoff's mission to Hydra. That's why they fall into the trap. That person must have wanted to embarrass S.H.I.E.L.D., so he broadcast this scene live. Wow, this scene is too real. The broken limbs of those agents are flying. It's so miserable. I can't stand it anymore. The boss of this agent organization must be an idiot. The beautiful agent is going to suffer now. Will there be paid content later? It's pitiful, but I really want to see. 11111. Yes, forgive me. Hey, don't forget, this video is about containment objects. This is the first time in Natasha Romanoff's agent career that she has been in such a mess. Natasha Romanoff looked at Crossbones angrily. Despicable. Despicable. He said nonchalantly, don't you also want to sneak attack on us despicably? Crossbones knelt down and tried to touch Natasha Romanoff's face, but the latter dodged it. Don't be so resistant, little girl. I can't bear to kill a beauty like you. Tonight, just serve us well. Suddenly, obscene laughter sounded. Then, Crossbones raised the butt of his gun and hit Natasha Romanoff on the head. Natasha Romanoff suddenly fell unconscious. Bring it in. At night, let's all have a good time. Ha ha ha. I do not know how long it has been. Natasha Romanoff wakes up. She struggled hard, but she found that she was tightly tied. Because her figure was so perfect, her chest was so bulging. But fortunately, the clothes are intact. This shows that those bastards didn't do anything to her. Natasha Romanoff breathed a sigh of relief. Being a good agent, she immediately began to observe her surroundings. It was extremely dark, with only a glimmer of light shining through the cracks in the dilapidated walls. There were voices at the door, indicating that guards were watching. Natasha Romanoff began to wiggle her hands, trying to break free of the rope. But after trying for a long time, there was no progress. Isn't there any way? Suddenly, Natasha Romanoff heard a noise behind her. She was suddenly startled, and the hairs all over her body stood up. I saw a man in a black coat and a beak mask walking out of the dark corridor behind Natasha Romanoff. Natasha Romanoff and the plague doctor's eyes met. Nick Fury gasped. The plague doctor really showed up. His scalp suddenly began to tingle. He didn't believe at all that the plague doctor could be a kind person. Natasha Romanoff is his best agent, and Nick really doesn't want to lose her. Nick Fury was very anxious, but could do nothing. The walkie-talkie in his hand was about to explode. It took 30 minutes for the support agent to arrive. There was no time to save Natasha Romanoff. Online. Shit. It's coming. Ah, this must be the plague doctor. Rush out and kill those terrorists. Don't be too quick to be happy. The plague doctor might think this beautiful agent has the plague. Ah, wouldn't that turn into a beautiful zombie? So, what does that plague refer to? Audiences really don't want Natasha Romanoff to die. Stark got on the plane, looking at the light curtain outside the window. I guess this female agent will definitely die. Natasha Romanoff looked at the plague doctor with instinctive fear in her heart. As an agent for many years, she had not felt this way for a long time. She shrank back unconsciously. Natasha Romanoff is sure that the bird-beaked man is not the agent who came to rescue her. Could it be that he is from Hydra? The audience's hearts were in their throats as the plague doctor constantly approached Natasha Romanoff. The walkie-talkie in Nick Fury's hand is also dying. The plague doctor stood in front of Natasha Romanoff. Just stared at her. Natasha Romanoff felt her throat tighten. The next moment, the plague doctor squatted down. I didn't expect that in this place full of plague, there would be such a clean existence. For some reason, after hearing these words, Natasha Romanoff's tense heart suddenly relaxed. The audience breathed a sigh of relief. Nick's walkie-talkie was also saved. Suddenly, the door was kicked open. Crossbones laughed and walked in. How is it, my little beauty, do you feel comfortable? At night, there will be more comfortable things waiting for you. The next moment, he saw the plague doctor and was stunned. Crossbonesel immediately raised the ray gun in his hand. Who the hell are you? The plague doctor also sees Crossbones. He suddenly burst into rage and screamed. He was completely different from his calm state just now. Plague, the plague must be eradicated. He rushed towards Crossbones. Crossbones quickly targeted the plague doctor. However, the latter touched his chest first. The plague doctor just touched it with his hand. Crossbones fell down like an empty shell with its soul extracted. This scene made Natasha Romanoff tremble all over. She had never seen anyone kill the other person just by touching him. After killing Crossbones, the plague doctor didn't stop and rushed outside. Plague, so much plague. Louis controlled the camera and followed the plague doctor outside. Hydra members raised their guns. Stop, you bastard. If you take one more step forward, I'll blow your head off. But the plague doctor seemed not to notice and screamed. There are so many plagues. The plague must be eradicated. His voice gave the Hydra members present a chill. It was as if I had arrived in an ice cave in an instant. Then, the plague doctor rushed towards the Hydra members. The Hydra were so frightened that they immediately opened fire. The bullets hit the plague doctor as if they were free. Natasha Romanoff sighed. She believed that the bird-beaked man, whoever he was dead. But, it was beyond her expectation. The plague doctor seems to be fine. Facing the hail of bullets, it felt like he had unleashed his domineering body. The expressions of Hydra members gradually became frightened. There is no longer the arrogance and cruelty of the past. They encountered a real monster. The Hydra member closest to the plague doctor screamed and poured firepower towards him. The plague doctor just tapped him lightly with his finger. The man fell straight to the ground. The Hydras were even more frightened and even brought out their rocket launchers. This sight surprised Natasha Romanoff. It also shocked all the viewers. Ignore the bullets. You will really die if you touch it. With a strong body and instant kill, you are simply invincible. My beautiful sister is saved. Shield. What kind of monster is this? Nick's eyes were full of horror. He organized countless operations to eliminate Hydra, and each time he paid a heavy price. And this plague doctor eats it directly. Plague, so many plagues. The plague doctor shouted, stretching out his hand of death. With every touch, a Hydra member loses his life. Within a minute, most of the people present were dead. The plague must be eradicated. The plague doctor is like a death god, constantly harvesting lives. Eventually, only one Hydra member was left alive. Not wanting to wait for death, he rushed to the room where Natasha Romanoff was. He raised his gun and wanted to use Natasha Romanoff as a hostage. But the plague doctor was too quick. He rushed in and pointed at the man. At this point, the Hydra group was destroyed. Then, the plague doctor slowly regains his composure. It seemed like nothing had happened just now. He slowly turned his head. The two black holes on the beak mask look like endless abyss, staring into Natasha Romanoff. Natasha Romanoff swallowed. No matter what, there was no way she could fight against the plague doctor. She tried to move, but her thigh was broken and her spine was damaged. Couldn't move at all. Nick Fury was nervous again. Although the plague doctor expressed kindness towards Natasha Romanoff. But he's still very dangerous. Now, Nick Fury no longer dares to doubt the authenticity of the Foundation. The plague doctor just glanced at Natasha Romanoff and turned his head, staring at the body on the ground. Apparently, the plague doctor has no hostility towards Natasha Romanoff. As a result, Nick Fury's dishonest head started spinning again. He thought to himself, since this plague doctor is friendly to Natasha Romanoff, does this mean that S.H.I.E.L.D. can take him? He shook his head. It's too risky. No one is sure what plague the plague doctor is talking about. What if he goes crazy one day and kills all the S.H.I.E.L.D. members? That's it. Nick Fury is greedy, but he's not stupid. The plague doctor at the moment looked at the corpse on the ground and said with great regret, why did he die again? This will not help at all to purify the plague. Natasha Romanoff was slightly startled when she heard this. Her agent instinct kicked in. Since the target is not hostile, try to communicate with him. When you said at the beginning, I am very clean, what did you mean? Well, because there is no plague on you. The plague doctor squatted down and took out tools from his bag that did not fit the bag's capacity. These tools all have a sense of age, as if they have been used for hundreds of years and have not been cleaned. As the plague doctor pulled out a huge amounts of rusty saw. Nick Fury's heart was in his throat again. Natasha Romanoff asked again, the plague you are talking about, do you mean? The Black Death. His clothes are indeed reminiscent of a medieval doctor. The greatest plague of the Middle Ages was, of course, the Black Death. It is very unprofessional to simply understand the plague as a disease, this beautiful lady. The plague doctor said without raising his head. Then, what exactly is this plague? As soon as Natasha Romanoff finished speaking, the plague doctor was stunned. Then, he squatted down. He slapped his head hard. Well, you know, it's just. I can't explain clearly, that's it, oops. He seemed to be trying to remember something, but just couldn't. Under the light curtain. So, he actually doesn't know what the plague refers to. Then doesn't he kill people randomly? I don't think so. He didn't kill the beautiful agent. Yes, and he also said that she was very clean. So, he obviously killed someone with a target. So, what exactly does the plague refer to? I'm so curious. In the S.H.I.E.L.D. spacecraft, Nick Fury muses. Killing the Hydra people, leaving Natasha Romanoff behind. In other words, there is a plague among the Hydra people. He couldn't help but touch his smooth head. He also couldn't figure out what the plague was. Kamar Taj. The Ancient One looked at the light curtain above his head and thought to himself, purposefully destroying the plague, but I don't remember why. It's like a dark creature that has been cursed. She recalled a certain dark creature she had dealt with more than 100 years ago. That thing was cursed and very powerful. The Ancient One paid the price of several beloved disciples before finally destroying it. She thought thoughtfully, the plague in his mouth, does it mean good and evil? No, good and evil are not clear-cut. Not even the wisest man on earth, the Ancient One, was sure what the plague was. Asgard. Loki watched the barrage fly by. Stupid earthlings actually analyzed the words of a madman. Loki crossed his arms in disdain. As everyone discussed, the plague doctor began to take action. He squatted down next to Crossbones, body with a rusty saw and scalpel covered in dried blood. Natasha Romanoff suddenly had a bad feeling. Then, Natasha Romanoff saw a scene she would never forget in her life. As a top agent, she has witnessed many tragic scenes. But when she saw what the plague doctor had done, Her face immediately turned pale, and acid surged in her stomach. Natasha Romanoff closed her eyes, trying hard to forget what had just happened. I can't do it anymore, brothers, I have to vomit again. This is too, cannot be described as disgusting and cruel. My mother, please give me a pair of eyes that have never seen this before. He vomited his intestines. Oh my god, what did he dig out? Is it red and moving? Why do you need to peel off the skin? In S.H.I.E.L.D. Many well-trained agents vomited. The air was filled with sourness and stench. Nick Fury puffed his lips. It feels like something is going to be ejected in the next second. He tried hard to stay calm. If he vomits it out in public, the image of the director will be lost. He had thought that plague doctors would dissect corpses, but he never expected that it would be like this. To say cruel is not enough. Nick can't find any adjectives either. How could such a perverted surgery bring a corpse back to life? The hands and feet are connected wrongly. In Kamar Taj, all the magic apprentices also vomited. But Ancient One is very calm. She has seen many dark creatures and done even crueler things. Please subscribe my channel and support.